And we're live, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. Welcome to a show about shows, movie review time here as we talk about a movie that we saw recently. I am the host, I guess, JPO, Jordan Pierce Owens, joined here by a lovely human being. He's definitely totally awake and totally remembered this was happening. It's the Rickster from Down to Movie. What up, Rick?
What's happening, man? I totally wasn't laying in bed 5 minutes ago on NyQuil ready to go to sleep. Totally didn't happen.
So we will get this review in before he and maybe even I pass out here. I also might have taken a nap in the last hour or so. I definitely saw 6:15 and then saw 6:45 right by each other.
Oh,
So we're gonna review a special movie. I think something that we're both very excited for. The third installment. Can you believe it? Three for Clerks. Clerks 3 that just came out a couple weeks ago. Fathom exclusive event here. Um, so it didn't count for my AMC pass. I had to pay extra, although my friend Brian did tell me later you could have just went in for a free movie and then went to the other theater. But you know what? I want Kevin Smith to have my money because I wanted to make sure more of these movies happen.
but is your theater assigned seats?
Yeah, but I guess maybe just take the risk or just,
Yeah,
or go
yeah,
in
but
later.
it's like you said. I mean, I'm the same way. I've read Unlimited, and to
Mm,
spend the $15 a ticket to support Kevin Smith and you know see him make more movies,
yeah.
definitely worth the money.
Like I will admit I did double dip way back in the day and didn't pay for Grown Ups too. But I'm not upset with that decision
Nah,
because I don't want a three.
they should have paid you to sit through that.
But no, but like I said, yeah, definitely happy because I want to see more of these movies here. Financially made here. Of course, a lot of the cast coming back here: Jeff Anderson, Brian O'Halloran, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, Rosario Dawson, Marilyn Gigliotti, Trevor Furman, Jennifer Schwalbach, Austin Zajura, amongst many others here. Many of fun cameos here. Some we won't
Yes.
totally spoil. You see some of them in the trailer here. Rick, were you excited for this movie?
Excited would be an understatement. You and I have discussed before. We've done trivia where Kevin Smith movies are our strengths or our, like specialty. I've been a Kevin Smith fan since I watched the Mallrats ABC cut when I was probably in middle school. That was my first exposure to Kevin Smith.
Do you have that new Blu-ray that has that cut?
I do. I do. I
Yeah.
have the Arrow video with it. And I've just been a fan of his since I discovered it and watched, his earlier stuff, obviously unedited, not the TV cuts of those movies. And except for a few movies that aren't really comedy movies that he's done, I've been a fan of everything he's done. And I was a big fan of Reboot. I know a few of my friends thought it was kind of like a cash grab and it wasn't really a good movie. I disagree. I thought it was a really fun movie. And Clerks 3 definitely had some surprises in place for us diehard Kevin Smith fans.
No, 100% here. Yeah, man. Same boat. Love Kevin Smith. Mallrats, same thing. I was sad my brother didn't remember this, but my first memories is my brother sneaking me into his room and us watching Mallrats. While the parents had no idea. And even
Yeah.
I remember renting Strike Back, and then later on, my mom being like, did you watch this shit? You can't watch this. I'm like, yeah, too late. I watched it already. But yes, sneaking them in, loving them. First Clerks 2 was my first theater experience for Kevin Smith. Very
Okay.
excited to be able to do that and followed up here. Yeah, so you could see him getting a little more serious. The Jason Mewes storyline in Reboot here, and yeah, obviously without giving spoilers here because it's a big twist. It's a big turn that you find out with some of these characters what has happened in the meantime. It doesn't take too long since from Clerks 2 as far as timeline wise, I guess
Yeah.
or some things did happen here. So it was an interesting take here. I'll go ahead and also share the trailer if in case anyone hasn't seen the trailer yet. Yeah. So what was your initial thoughts about the movie here as a whole? How did you feel? Uh,
I mean, I will say right away in the opening 2 minutes, I looked over at Bridget and said, "Did I just see what I saw?" Because
yeah.
they briefly show something. I'm like, "No, that can't be right." And then obviously, with I don't want to get into spoilers, like you said. Obviously, it pans out that what I saw was real, and I do. I appreciate that Kevin Smith not only took a trilogy or a movie 28 years, in the making, but he took his real life into the movie and basically put himself in Jeff Anderson's shoes. A lot of the stuff verbatim was conversations he had at the hospital when he had his heart attack, um, that he's talked about in interviews for years now, like the interaction with the doctor and her saying that he's having a heart attack as they speak, which isn't a spoiler. They show that in the trailers. And it's kind of the fuel for the movie. And then it's like a love story to these two characters, Dante and Randall, a love story to his filmmaking and filmmaking in general. Obviously, lots of laughs, lots of pop culture banner from Kevin Smith, but the emotional beats in this movie are something I've never seen Kevin Smith do as well as he did. Like, yes, there's emotional stuff and things like Chasing Amy and Jersey Girl, but not to the level that this movie produces, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you on that here too. Yeah, even going back to the first thing you said, which was the whole. I was with my brother, who I actually mentioned before with Mallrats, and it was definitely a double take in the first few minutes of like, and almost waiting for them to kind of like retcon it or find out that it was like a joke or like a weird,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they don't, and obviously we'll
I
get
mean,
too much into it.
it
Go see it.
flashes by so
Yeah,
fast. And I was like, no, I don't think I saw that right. And
yeah.
obviously, after about what 10 or 15 minutes, you find out
You
you
find out
saw it
what's
right.
going on. Yeah, and it continues, man. It continues to pull some punches throughout it here. But I also don't want to underestimate. You said it. The laugh factor is here too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I did find myself pretty consistently, laughing throughout. The majority of the movie. Kind of like Clerks 2, it has a bit more of a dramatic kind of tear towards the end as well.
Yep.
There's another fight where they get to show up their acting chops too. I
I
thought
was gonna say,
Anderson was great in this. I thought
and
Anderson was great.
and a monologue that Brian O'Halloran has in the movie
Yes.
is wow. Like, I mean, for somebody like him who's not necessarily known for his acting chops, like there's a scene where I was just blown away. The third act definitely was unexpected, and that's a welcome thing. Like, it's definitely a different movie from Kevin Smith, but still, like you said, had typical Kevin Smith. There's a scene that you kind of mentioned, the cameo scene, I'll refer
Mm-hmm.
to it as. I was so excited for that scene because they didn't overdo it. Like, it could have gone on way too long, but the amount of cameos that they put in there and the amount of familiar faces, one in particular I was super excited about. He might be, on a TV show that plays all the time on a channel on cable. And I'm going to see him do stand up the next month. So, yeah, there are lots of cool cameos. Obviously, they gave away a big one in the trailer, but you kind of need to do that because
Well,
people were
they had to show Affleck, man. Come on.
people were super excited for him back in Reboot, and definitely was probably one of my favorite parts of Reboot, that
Yeah,
scene
same
with
here.
him. And so it's fun to see him back. And they talk about a Mallrats sequel possibly. I would love to see it. I mean, they've teased that for like 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah. That's been in the works for a long time. They again trying to fight with the studio to get the rights to everything, and
Yeah,
even talks to possibly making it like a web series or of some sort of web show.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, man. No, at this point here, man, there hasn't been anything that I've felt has been too much of diminishing returns. I had my feelings of Reboot. I liked it a lot. There is a little bit of, as far as, I don't want to say bad by any means. I really did dig the film to a large degree. Sometimes it was a little too knocking over the head with some of the references and puns. And like, again, if you're not a fan, kind of like Reboot, I think
Oh yeah.
unfortunately you're not gonna like this as much. Like, I think that's just facts.
But
Like,
but I really think now, if you look back at View Askew movies, especially even going back to Strike Back, like if you're not a Kevin Smith
yeah.
fan, you're these movies aren't necessarily going to be for you. Like, I played a scene of Clerks 2 for my dad, thinking he would like it based on his humor. And he was in hysterics. And then the next day I talked to him. He goes, "So I watched the first Clerks movie. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, I know you're. He goes, well, let me rephrase that. I watched about 25 minutes of the first Clerks
Nah,
movie. He goes, do you know that's in black and white? I said, yeah, I'm well aware.
where?
And I could have told you that you would not like that kind of movie. Like, I just know my dad's humor. That's why I played the one scene in particular. But how do you feel about Elias as a character?
I I thought Elias made me laugh. Maybe just because it was the fact that they haven't been a lot of different outfits here, so you're constantly kind of
Yeah.
getting a little bit of a chuckle as
I,
to what they're going to come up with.
I mean,
Um,
Bridget and I really enjoyed him.
yes, and I'm so glad he was brought back because he was definitely a standout of Clerks too,
Yeah,
and like he's somebody that for I don't know if there's a reason to it or not, but we haven't seen a lot of in anything else pretty much. And I was
yeah,
always wanting more of this actor and this character, and we got it. And
yeah.
he gets to take obviously from the trailer a turn.
Clerks 2, I think, could be the funniest Kevin Smith movie. I really do.
Mhm.
Like, there are parts of that movie where I just cannot stop laughing. And that's the tough thing. Like, with this franchise, like, I would say I'd probably rank this third out of the three, but they're all really
Ooh.
good movies. Like,
You know, I haven't thought about this in my ranking overall. Yeah, yeah, that's a tough three to rank.
yeah, I mean, for me, as it could be controversial, for me, it's two, one, three, but they're all.
I don't think that's controversial because I'm
they're-
leaning towards two as my number one. I'm agreeing with you on that, and then I'd like to sit on three longer before I really kind of put it into my docket. You know?
I'm definitely excited. They've already announced it's coming as a physical media fan. It's coming to physical media the
Oh
first week of
yeah.
December.
Okay,
So
so not
it'll
too
be
bad.
it'll be available digitally. You can buy it digitally, I think, in the middle of October, I think I read. But they're saying first week of December. There's rumors that it could be having a 4K steelbook, which would be pretty cool. Kevin Smith's never had a movie on 4K. Not that
Oh
any of
wow,
his movies any of
like
his movies
super
don't
needed,
necessarily
but yeah,
need
but
4K,
still,
but the steelbook artwork that they teased is pretty cool. It's similar
I
to
haven't
the
even seen that. I
poster.
got to look at it. Nice.
Yeah, it's similar to the poster with them standing at the counter.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm glad to hear it's done really well. I guess from what I've heard, it's one of the most successful Fathom events.
Nice. Good to hear.
I
My
don't
theater
get
wasn't too bad. I went night two or three. I think I went night three actually, and it wasn't too bad. Like nothing crazy, but enough to where I was like, okay, even on night three,
yeah when I first heard about it, because Reboot they only showed I think one or two nights. It might have been two
yeah,
nights
I believe it
because
was just two.
it was right around my birthday, and we went like the day before. But this, as soon as I heard, like, we bought tickets for Tuesday night, the first night, because I'm like, I need to see this. And then it was only supposed to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And the demand was so high for tickets, they extended it through the weekend.
Yeah, and this
And
is playing until
initially,
at least Saturday, or if not Sunday.
I think it played through Sunday. And initially,
Ah,
we had talked about going to, because he's touring it and doing like a Q&A after it. But that's something I couldn't bring myself to spend the money on. Those tickets were like $65 each, and I was like, I can't pay. Sorry,
oh, do
really,
it, do it,
I,
Rick. If it's near you,
I,
do it.
I can't pay $130 to go see a movie. I've seen Kevin Smith do Q&A before, so I think if I hadn't seen him do it, I probably would have gone.
Says the
I
man that
know,
will drop $40 on that steel K, steel Blu-ray as soon as he
yeah,
can.
man. But Brian O'Halloran and I can't think of the girl's name.
Marilyn Gigliotti.
Gilla
Yeah, so I'm sure if I'm
Gigliotti.
butchering, my apologies, but yeah.
The two of them and Kevin Smith were at our the one I would have went to, which was about
Ah, come
40.
on.
It was about 45 minutes from us. But night one of the Fathom events, we went. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't do Fathom events and then wait a week or two and then give it like a regular theatrical run. It seems like a weird decision to not try to generate more box office, but I know
Well, this
the
is
other
done way more independently, so I think this is just
yeah.
maybe their options, you know?
Well, the other thing that I loved about it, and he mentioned it before the movie, he did like a 5 minute thing where he talked about Clerks 3 getting made. Is Kevin Smith has been a huge proponent of praising the success of his movies on Blu ray and DVD. And because the sales for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot were what they were, and he talked about this at Comic Con, the studio approached him. Lionsgate was like, what do you have? Like, let's do something else
Yeah, yeah,
because
it
of
was
the
successful
success
enough.
of the
Yeah.
physical media. So Kevin Smith, I mean, has always been a proponent of physical media. So it's awesome to see physical media still being something relevant to where they're not talking about a streaming service. They're talking about getting the movie in theaters for the core audience and then getting it on physical media for the more casual fans and the core audience. So as a physical media nerd, that's amazing to hear Kevin Smith just praise physical media and hear a company like Lionsgate, green light this movie because of the success of physical media.
Yeah, for once, it's a film that's actually moving the needle more than most things are, including big theater movies. You know what I mean,
Yep.
or stuff that gets a way wider release. And but
Yeah.
luckily, his fan base still because like even I've slowed down on my physical to a big degree, but like I'll
Yeah.
probably go ahead and pick up. I'll continue my Kevin Smith collection. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'll probably go ahead and pick up one of those as well for sure. Especially like last year it came up. Reboot came with the digital with the Blu-ray, so I'm like, all right, good deal.
Yeah.
They continue doing that. So what's kind of final thoughts and a 1 to 5? What do you give it?
I give it a 3.5 out of 5 for my review. That's kind of like Kevin Smith doesn't make 5-star movies, and I'm a pretty tough critic. People have given me a hard time, like Henry gives me a hard time about what I rate stuff. And for me, for a Kevin Smith movie to be 3.5, and there's a few of his that I've given 4 stars to. Like, I think that's a really good for a Kevin Smith comedy movie, and this is a really good Kevin Smith movie. It's a good movie. I mean, there's drama, there's comedy, there's pop culture references, there's so many throwbacks to the original Clerks and the people involved with the original Clerks, and even Clerks 2, which not as old, but still, what are we doing on
Hey, at this point, it kind of is.
16 years, right?
Yeah, like at this point, it is.
8 years after the original, 16 years after the second one, to see these guys back again, it was a fun time. Kevin Smith, gets his wife in there, his daughter, his probably future son-in-law, and then the usual
Yeah,
ragtag
what
group.
did you think? What did you think of the son-in-law, who is kind of the new Silent Bob or another Silent Bob?
I, I,
I felt like he was kind of tacked in sometimes. He's
yeah,
fine in what he's
like
given, which is not much other than
yeah,
facials,
it was
but
it was funny to see him as that character, but like I've seen him in stuff, and
yeah.
he's funny. Like I kind of
No, he
wish,
is. Yeah,
like
I do hope in other Smith movies, which I'm guessing he'll be in, that
yeah.
he might get something meteor next time.
But him and Elias together were, I thought it
It
was
worked.
really
It
funny.
worked. Yeah, like yeah. It
You
worked.
know, they go
I could
from
just see like that not ever. I always got a vision of like he was probably not in the first script, and then
yeah,
like he's like, oh shit, I gotta give Austin something.
yep.
All right, Elias has a buddy.
And the payoff is good. He gets his
He gets
Silent
his
Bob
speech
moment, if
and
you
Silent
will.
Bob's speech. This movie I
Yeah,
really liked, which kind of goes back to the black and white reasoning.
yeah, and it
He
was
has a nice
super like
monologue.
it was super meta in a way, and just a fun like filmmaker going off in as a character, but
Yeah.
going off about how important that aspect is to the movie. Is it's
Yeah, no, as a obviously a fan of these movies, you're always kind of waiting for that Silent Bob moment and seeing if it
yeah,
pays off. And I thought it did pay off here as
yeah.
well. Here,
And Muse was great again. Muse
yeah,
is
they know these characters, yeah, and they're used. I thought a decent amount too, or they're the right amount is kind of what I want to say. Like I think
yeah.
like they're not overly like shoved in too much. Like
The,
Muse's, I love Muse's little snarkings about the title of it. Fucking stupid title.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he gets that in a couple
This is
times.
definitely a Dante and Randall movie.
Yeah.
First and foremost, they even make jokes about Jay and Silent Bob being, the R2D2 and
Yeah, like
C3PO.
they're in it
Like,
just enough to put on the
yeah,
poster,
yep. But
which is like 100% true.
yeah. I mean, like I said, as a massive, like, I'm a huge Kevin Smith nerd. I've gone to the Secret Stash a few times. I've gone to the Quick
Nice.
Stop, even since it got repainted. It's funny how they didn't show the right end of the building at all, because that's where the Smod Castle is now. He has his own
Oh,
like
okay.
mini podcast
Yeah.
stand up facility. Like they didn't show that part of the building, but it was cool to see that. People from like Comic Book Men are in the beginning during a hockey
Yeah, you get
game.
all the comic book men at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in a scene at the end too. But yeah, it's just like the fact that he can take his like close knit group of friends and make these movies that have spoke to a generation, and like we've essentially grown up with these characters. Like I don't know what year I saw Mallrats on TV. I'm guessing it was probably like 1997, so I would have been like
Yeah, a couple years
13.
after.
Um, getting to see pretty much, I guess, strike back on I saw in the movies when stuff would come out. And obviously having all the stuff on physical that he's put out, I just can listen to the man talk. I mean, an evening with Kevin Smith is something like
Love those.
when I would clean my room back in the day, I would put those on and I could like retell some of the stories with him because it was just like I love hearing his stories. I love seeing the stories he puts on screen. And like I said, I can't wait to revisit this one. I'll definitely be getting it as soon as I have access to it
Yeah,
physically and
yeah, I'm
revisiting
with
it.
you. I'll be picking it up in December and ready for my second watch. Then
Maybe I'll probably end up doing a like Clerks trilogy watch. I'll rewatch all three together.
I say I did the first movie again recently, and I've seen two a lot. I think I watched it even about a year ago already. So, but I'd be down for that. But I was gonna say though, I'm right with you though. Actually, on your review and your star rating, 3.5 is exactly what I gave it. Like I said, definitely works more than it doesn't. The laugh factor is there. I definitely found myself laughing a decent amount here. Some of the stuff, like I said, a little hammered in. It got to a certain point where I was like, I get it. I mean, they maybe trample a couple jokes a couple times too many.
Yeah,
But it's also kind of a brave film here, man. Like you can't argue that he took it super easy and he just unlike Reboot, not making fun of Reboot, but unlike Reboot, he really took some, different turns here, and he didn't just kind of, oh, there's Diedrich Bader doing the same Diedrich Bader thing again, which was
yeah,
kind of my problem. Like he truly like did something brave and different with these characters here,
yeah,
has something different to say here, based on real life, like you said, from the Widowmaker, and actually having the Widowmaker in there, and him not wanting to show his tiny thing, and all
yeah,
the stuff that we've, me and you have heard in podcasts, and putting it in there, and the laughs are there, the dramatic moments, the performances are there from Anderson to O'Halloran. Great cast, great cameos. And again, it's something that I already am looking forward to seeing again in a couple months here. So decent review here, 3.5 stars for Clerks 3. Check it out. Obviously, I think the Fathom's done. If the road show's near you and you got it, go
yeah.
for it. If not, December, you can
Yeah, no,
pick it
like
up
I said,
on physical.
I think streaming mid October. So if you're a
Oh,
streaming
so even
person,
sooner. Oh, okay, I didn't know
like
that.
you'll be able to pay. I don't know if it's like a pay to own thing where you have to pay like 15 or $20, but uh, it'll be available that way. And then, like I said, they just announced physical. I think December 6th is the day. So
Right on. Rick, any plugs, parting words you got for us here?
yeah, I'm Rick from Down the Movie. Check out my channel on YouTube, Down the Movie. It's probably listed on the bottom of the screen, but it's DOWN space TO space movie. I do weekly videos. I alternate between like review videos where I'll do like 2 weeks worth of reviews in a video, and pickups where I'm adding physical media to my ever growing collection of physical media. So yeah,
Sounds awesome. Yes, definitely follow him there. Always fun stuff happening with Rick and DTM. Follow us here and like, subscribe if you haven't already. Why haven't you? But no, do that. Have fun, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always. This is a show about show movie reviews. Good night.